So back with you guys. We weren't going to make a video so soon, but I just thought we would make a nice little pointer video, tip video, whatever you want to call it, into additional expenses when you're doing projects like this. That way people have heads ups. So there's a lot of little things, like there's some little clips that go in here. Like on most things, they're like little retaining clips, and then your screw goes in and it threads through it. So those you can purchase at most of your auto part stores. Little screws if you're going to replace with new hardware. I also suggest you get a few things that we'll show you. We're doing some electrical work today, a couple reverse lights and things like that. We already wired in the tail lights, but we're mounting them a little better, and we're going to be altering the fill spout like I said. But I wanted to show you guys, when you get into doing these projects and stuff, keep in mind the electrical side of it, unless you have someone that's doing that for you. And I'll show you what we have for when we get into these things, and supply and elsewise, and how we keep us. We have a whole drawer basically. I think you guys may have seen it once, but here it is. So we have screwdrivers and Allen wrenches and stuff here that we pulled out of the toolbox to use. But in our electric supply, we have the new tester. Inside there's also, I revamped it to where the short chaser is in there, the sniffer. I call it ETC 3000 short chaser. We put them together. We're probably going to find a bigger box for these. Today we got 2 rolls of wire because we don't want to be short-handed. They sell strictly, I think, the 14 gauge because it's between the 16 and the 12, so it's kind of universal. They sell it on the rolls. Those are like 20 bucks a piece, I think. 25 bucks a piece, so they're pretty spendy. That's 50 bucks there alone. Another thing we were out of, because this here has some shrink tube, but it's mostly butt connectors and things like this guy, miscellaneous, because we ran out of the bigger stuff, then we consolidated. We bought another thing, a shrink tube, because we needed certain sizes for what we're doing, because we're revamping the fuel pump today and getting that going, because both of them tested good. We have other testers on that side of the box where our short chaser was, so we cleaned that up. But this is basically, and this isn't even, I don't even feel like this is a full setup for doing electric. This is just like a basic thing you can use. So in here, I'll show you what we have. We have what we call insulator tape. It's the rubber stuff, which you should always follow back up with some Tessa tape or cloth tape, as we would call it, because there's a couple different brands. I like the Tessa. It's a high heat tape, so it protects your insulator tape from coming loose, which is nice. So that's a common practice that I use when making harnesses and not covering them with the plastic. 2 different types of zip ties. I got 8-inch 20 centimeters, and I got 14-inch 6 millimeters. They're the really big ones, so I carry those. We picked up some blue butt connectors that have heat shrink built into them. We have regular red ones, and then that's why we get the tube. We have some splicing connectors here, which are good. You can splice 2 wires together without having to use a butt connector. These are our universal, I'll show you. So they're the clips I was telling you about. And here, there's one on the ground here. I'll just show you a bigger version, because we didn't have the small ones. So they look like this, and they clip on metal, and then they have like a threaded nut, so you can thread stuff to them. But we had big ones, but not little ones, so we picked up some little ones. Here's a part number, just to give you an idea. And so those are things that are like a tip, as far as like, if you get into this, make sure you have them on hand. it's definitely going to cost you probably, if you don't have none of this, you're going to, I mean, testers and all, you're probably looking around $600 more. But if you have testers and stuff, just the little knick-knack supplies, count yourself in for a couple hundred, $200 to $300 more on electric stuff. You know, fasteners, things like that, to get your vehicle back together. Unless you bag and tagged every fastener like I try to do with most of them, and save as much fasteners as you can, then that's a good thing too. So nonetheless, that's the tip, is just, you know, be ready for the electrical side. Because it doesn't just take just a tester, one tester, and a few crimps, and sometimes it takes an assortment of things to get it done right. So there you go. There's your pointer. Peace and prosperity to all. Down with the haters, up with the participators, and we'll see you on the next one. Have a good evening.